The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery. The person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act. The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer. Do we move forward together, or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
There's Charles Booker and his campaign ad against Rand Paul after he won the Democratic primary to look to unseat him. So powerful ad there, and ominous, deep, detailed, and actually breaks down the reasons why he used such, let's keep it real, violent imagery there when talking about his opponent in Rand Paul. We asked him about this because the night of the election, when he won that primary, he did come on TYT's election coverage. And we were talking to him about what his approach would be. And I remember when we had this part of the conversation, I was thinking, well, what's that really gonna look like, Charles? Let's watch what he had to say about his approach to taking on Rand Paul.
We are going to beat Rand Paul by naming Rand Paul. A lot of people don't know what he does. He's a crisis actor, he's a contrarian, he's a fake libertarian, like he stokes conspiracy theories, and we're gonna name him. We're gonna help people see that he's blocking disaster relief, that he's blocking investments in infrastructure, that he's opposing expanded health care. He called it akin to slavery, that he opposed the Civil Rights Act. He doesn't believe that we should invest in our home or that we should support our allies abroad. He's a joke, and we're gonna call him out.
For the audience, you might be thinking, well, isn't that what you always do in a race? No, that is not what Democrats always do in a race.
So apparently that's not what he's doing. He's not doing the normal go by the playbook of let's make sure we say the nice thing and this is what I'm gonna do. You gotta call out the guys and make it memorable. It's just the way these things have to work. I mean, look, the way attacks always come when they have no basis behind it. So as he pointed out, the Anti-Lynching Act Rand Paul was against, the Civil Rights Act in 2010 he's against, and he's talking about when it comes to healthcare, how it's akin to slavery. Again, we can just toss the words around, but we don't want to teach Americans what slavery really was in this country. We just want to use it for political points now. A little bit more on his opposition to the Civil Rights Act. You had to ask me, the but is what was going on here. I don't like the idea of telling private business owners, I abhor racism. I think it's a bad business decision to exclude anybody from your restaurant. But at the same time, I do believe in private ownership. But I absolutely think there should be no discrimination in anything that gets any public funding. And that's most of what I think the Civil Rights Act was about in my mind. So this is more of his comments when he's talking about that. So he kind of dances around issues. And that's what Charles was saying there as well, was he's a bit of a charlatan here. He'll say one thing or act like, oh yeah, I'm totally on the right side. I mean, I'm a libertarian, but then again, I think people who can be absolutely blatantly racist and keep people out of their stories in America is one of those things that we should go back to. I mean, it's just America, right? Oh, but I'm against it. I'm totally against it, but I'm okay with it. You can't play those two sides of the fence and then not have someone finally call you out for it. Give me some of your thoughts of what you think, because I saw this originally yesterday, David, and I was uncomfortable. Let's keep it real, but maybe that was the point.
Yeah, no, and an effective ad may make you uncomfortable and touch certain emotions. And Jayar, I'll be clear about this. I've been covering political campaigns for 25 years. I've seen a lot of ads. This is one of the most gripping, remarkable and courageous ads I have ever seen. And I think it's all in the positive direction because yes, it grabs you, you can't look away. It underscores who Rand Paul is. And Rand Paul supporters will say, well, but he ended up voting for the Anti-Lynching Act. Yes, he voted for it, 2 years after opposing it. So the ad is accurate. He did oppose it initially. And to define Rand Paul this way, this brutally, it almost makes me think this was done by a Republican firm, because Democrats don't tend to go here. They're afraid. They're worried that, oh my God, the people are gonna call us negative for running a negative campaign. That is what you have to do these days to win these campaigns. So I salute Charles Booker. I think he's got a brilliant team behind him, and he has done the most important thing in politics. He is grabbing everybody's attention. The money's gonna come in. He is suddenly now gonna be competitive because he's been able to break through the noise and say to people, I'm running against this guy and we've got to defeat Rand Paul.
Really fast, this made me think of another a black candidate that's running and put out a powerful ad, and it ruffled a few feathers and made people uncomfortable. Let's watch Gary Chambers, if you guys forgot about this one.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the US Senate, and I approve this message. Gerrymandered districts are a byproduct of the Confederacy. Our system isn't broken, it's designed to do exactly what it's doing, which is producing measurable inequity. 1 in 13 Black Americans are deprived of the right to vote. 1 in 9 Black Americans do not have health insurance. 1 in 3 Black children live in poverty. It's time to burn what remains of the Confederacy down. I do believe the South will rise again, but this time it'll be on our terms. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the US Senate, and I approve this message.
Gary Chambers down there in Louisiana talking about the truth behind marijuana laws, the truth behind the Confederacy and why he can burn the flag. But then with the imagery, gets people's attention. Now, between this and Charles Booker's ad, when they're talking with the noose and everything, is you're seeing it, and it's backed up by truth. Now, people may be upset about that. They may go, I can't believe these black guys are doing this. But you know what? Throughout history, throughout political campaigns, it's been the other way around, but it's been based in falsehoods. Remember Willie Horton ad, the infamous ad where they used a black man that was convicted, and they said, oh, look what my opponent's gonna do. Based on that, look at how much better we are with crime. And it became this big thing. It's one of the standards. But that was accepted as just, that's just what happens in political ads. Are we gonna accept these? Because this is the other way around, but it's based in reality. It's based in what they will change about the ills of our society from the positions of being elected officials.
Well, and I like the fact that Gary Chambers, who with those second 2 ads, is taking some risks. I didn't think the marijuana ad was so effective. I mean, look, it grabbed people's attention. It's not so effective, though, in my view, because it's all about Gary Chambers smoking a joint. And likewise, when you're burning a Confederate flag, that is gripping because the imagery of the KK and all that. But the unfortunate side of it is it may make Gary Chambers look frightening or scary to some people because he's got the sunglasses. The difference, of course, is that with the ad from the gentleman from Kentucky, that is not about him. It's about things that have been done to him and done to black people. It's an ad defining. It's an ad defining Rand Paul, and I think that's why that type of ad, where it's an attack ad on your opponent, is perhaps more effective than an ad that's scary about yourself.